chickadees. I feel like we were just here yesterday doing a live stream. Oh, that's right. It's because we were just here yesterday doing a live stream. Welcome back. It's a Talk About It Tuesday, usually Taco Tuesdays. Taco Tuesdays. Don't know if you caught the little play on words I did there, but so happy to have all of you on this fantastic Tuesday evening. I enjoyed the game last night. Wow, that was a good close one. I can get behind some football like that. That was fantastic. So entertaining. And we've got some other things to cover after my guest departs our live stream this evening. Some things have changed and I guess you could say popped off a little bit in some other cases that we're following. And so I want to make sure that we have plenty of time to go through those other cases. We may have some adjustments with the schedule. Hello, Mary P. Sup up. Sup up. Let me try that again. Sup peeps. And I say, sup chickadees. Hello, Kim House. Thanks for joining us. And Murky Piglet. Happy to have you here. Oh, thank you so much for sharing on the Twix. That's what I call it, the Twix, because I can't decide. And I don't think they can decide whether they want to be Twitter or X. And so I just say the Twix. I really, truly appreciate everybody coming on board this evening. We have a lot that we're going to cover. My guest is going to cover all things in the Tepe murder case out of Ohio. She is the woman in the know. And so we will be bringing her on here shortly. Hello, Crime Tourist. Thanks for joining us. Happy to have you. Sherry D, hello. So I neglected at the end of my live stream yesterday. I was just so excited after going 8.5 hours with y'all that I didn't do my business. Part of my business is to remind you all to hit the like, subscribe, notify, share, all the good stuff. Become a member if you'd like. But in addition to that, I forgot to thank my replay people, my replay crew. Thank you so much for watching on replay. And I don't see her yet. I will have to send a special thank you to my mod, Kelly. She held the fort down so well for us yesterday and made sure everybody minded their P's and Q's, but we have a great chat, so that's never an issue. And I don't know what is happening with my camera right now. There we go. Let's try to calm down. Okay, so let me get you all a little caught up on what we're going to be discussing with Lana tonight. If you don't know, but I think most of you do, Lana is from Truth and Transparency. I rather like her content. It is what all of us here on Ms. Demeanor's channel, what we like. All of the things that like, there's some crazy shenanigans going on here. We need to check this out. That's what Miss Lana does too. So she's our kind of people. So without further delay, I am going to bring Lana on and she's going to talk all about this Ohio case. Hello, my dear.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me tonight.
Thank you for coming on. You know, we met last week in that crazy stream about Zach Adams because, you know, I've been covering Zach Adams for a long time.
That's a crazy case, right?
Whew. I don't even know if crazy is an appropriate word for it.
Yeah, it's pretty corrupt.
Very corrupt. Obviously so.
Yeah. It's going to be wild. It's going to be a wild ride. I'm waiting for the decision to come down.
I am literally like counting the days.
Yeah.
Because I think it is somewhere when we did the live stream and we were somewhere in the 73 day mark, and so we're less than that now. I would say we're in the 60s somewhere,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah,
it
it's
takes the full 90 days to
I
make.
hope he doesn't take the full 90, but yeah.
I feel like he's going to based on what
I
he
know.
said in court. So, well, fill us all in. Tell us everything we need to know about the Teppies.
Well, just today they brought him back to. He's in Ohio now, so they
Did he
extradited him.
finally get there?
Yep.
She is referring to Michael McKe. Is that the correct pronunciation? And
Yep,
I
McKe.
want to make sure I'm saying your name correctly also.
You are.
Okay, perfect. I hate when people get names wrong. It's like a pet peeve of mine. So,
No, you're nailing it.
so okay. So he's back in Ohio.
So, yep, he was extradited. Michael McKe was extradited to, I think it happened heavily in the early morning hours, because if he got back here at 9 in the morning, he's leaving out like in the middle of the night. So they waited till Martin Luther King Day was officially over, I think. And then they went after it in the middle of the night. So he's here now. We're waiting. We were trying to like do a stakeout to have him, because I knew where he would be coming in.
Right.
And so I was like, but they were being so tight-lipped. I mean, we got flight plans for like the planes that fly out of Cleveland.
Wow.
Yeah, they locked all that stuff down, so we couldn't, any flight that was over like 4 passengers we were looking at. Yeah, so when we were thinking that he was going to be extradited, like, 24, 48 hours, and they just didn't do that.
No, I was surprised it was like pending. I'm like,
well, I think that they wanted to seat a grand jury and they wanted to indict him. And so if they would have brought him and arraigned him, then that time frame starts kicking in where he would have to, he has the right to his preliminary hearing within that 10 days. So I think that they were like, we're in no rush as long as we do this within the 30 days, because once we get him here to Ohio, that preliminary hearing time frame would kick in for his, due process. So I think that was part of it. But he's here now, and he has a new mugshot, so that's new. If you want me to, I can send it to you if you want to see it.
So what, how did he go off the rails, or was he ever on the rails? I guess that's the more appropriate question.
So I've talked to people that went to school with him, knew his family, and they were like, there's just no way. So he was adopted. An older couple adopted him. It was a planned adoption. So it wasn't like, he was left on like the doorsteps or something like that.
Right.
It was planned. The community knows this family. He was an only sibling. Like the McKees, Mary and James, didn't have other kids. So it was just him. He went to a small Catholic grade school, and then the high school. It is the Bishop Rosecrans is the name of the school.
Okay.
It's actually it's a Division IV school. It's a really good sports school, or it was when I was going to school. And he was, got really good grades, played football, basketball, was on the debate team. He always knew he wanted to be a doctor. Like it was just like a note, like everybody else knew that in town.
I think most people, like pilots, doctors, they know from police officers from a very young age, hey, this is what I'm going to do.
Yes. So it was a shock to the people that I talked to. Then he goes to Ohio State. When he went to Ohio State, he went there with a group of buddies from.
Well, that's what messed him up, going to Ohio State University. Sorry. I'm a University of Michigan fan, so.
I was just going to say we have a house divided here tonight.
Yes. Are you OSU?
Well, I went to UC, so Cincinnati comes in front of it, but obviously I'm a Buckeyes fan, but
right.
Yeah. So
I grew up about 20.
We're pretty diehard, but all Cleveland stuff comes first, then my alma mater, and then, the Buckeyes, but everything Ohio. So
yeah, I grew up about 20 minutes from the University of Michigan. So.
Oh, Ann Arbor.
Yes.
See, there you go. Okay. See, perfect. Good. So yeah, he went to Ohio State and he went there with a group of buddies. And again, the people that I talked to knew him when he was there. And that's where he met Monique when he was there. Towards the end of the end of undergrad, going into when he was going to be accepted into, he went and did his master's and then, med school and he graduated from the Ohio State for med school. Then he went to Virginia Tech to do a residency.
Right. I do remember hearing and reading about Virginia Tech. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So then another person I talked to was somebody that Michael actually lived with. Like,
oh,
yeah, during a very crucial time period, which is when he dated Monique. So that's and I got some insight into their relationship, which was he was never violent or anything like that. They had gotten engaged in 2013 and they kept pushing back the date. But his version of like being in a fight or something like that, he would be like, I'm just gonna give you like the silent treatment before living. Like, I'm just not gonna talk to you type of thing. This person was in his wedding, like in Monique's wedding. He had three groomsmen, and he was one of them.
Oh, how did that go?
He didn't reciprocate. He gets married a month later, and Mike wasn't in his though. But they didn't really care. About that. It was like the girls were like, "Oh, are they going to get mad about that?" And it's like, no.
No, dudes are different about that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but you know, looking in retrospect, that's a little telling.
Yeah.
Was that a one-sided friendship?
He just was really closed off. It was like it was like a bonding thing. Like his best friend was her, Monique, and like he talked to her with everything. That's how it was being explained to me. Like, it was just like he's very closed off, not, quiet introvert, but he would go out and have beers and stuff like that. They would go out a couple nights, whatever, during the week. It wasn't like he was just some, like, I don't know, hermit. But
excuse me,
it was, and he also had a girlfriend before her.
Well, that's
a girl named Molly. So I found out about that.
Oh, Molly and Monique.
Yeah,
Monique
the M's, two brunettes. They were both brunettes.
What I found interesting is that they divorced so many years ago. She's been remarried for like 5 years.
Well, I think how she left, in my opinion, stuck with him, and it rocked his world because it was like a stealth.
Oh, tell me everything, because I don't know. Spill the tea.
Okay. So when they moved, so they were living in Columbus. They get married at the end of August in 2020 or in 2015, sorry. And then they move immediately to Virginia because he's going to start his residency, and he buys a house there in September. Well, here, check this out. The house that he wanted to buy was put on the market in July. And instead of just buying it and worrying about like, okay, I want to only pay $230, but I end up paying what, $237. Who gives a shit? He lived in his car for a month.
What?
Yeah, and would shower at the hospital. Okay. All because he was in a negotiation with these people because he wanted to get this house at like $219. It was wild.
No.
So, like, this is the type. Yeah. So he lived out of his car for like a month, showered at the hospital. And then she then comes and drives down there and meets him once the house is okay. We have the house now.
Wow.
Pretty weird,
That's
crazy. By the
way. Thank you.
I didn't know if you're going to see it a couple more times. That's why I was like,
usually it comes in threes for me, but
right?
I lucked out this evening. It was just one. So go figure. Okay. So they were married.
When she moves there, to Virginia. So it was like, you're both moving to a place that you've never been.
Right.
You're starting your like life together. You don't have your friends there. You don't have your family there. She took a job that she had here in Columbus at Nationwide. And so when she went to Virginia, she then worked from home remotely for Nationwide. So she kept her job. So she's like basically inside this house by herself the whole time.
All the time.
He's off at work at the hospital a lot. And then, so she didn't really make any friends out there. She didn't know anybody. She worked, all of her stuff was still in Ohio. And this was relatively quick. So you look at it like you have, at the end of September, you're moving there. So you have October, November, then you have the holidays. So you're back kind of in Ohio.
Right.
Then, by January, February, she had her mind made up that this isn't what I want. This is, he's not for me. I need to get out of this. I gave it a shot. we probably should never got married.
Well, with
And
the
moves.
delays, that kind of
Yeah.
was telling.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who was delaying that. It may have been him, but it sounds more likely that it
Yeah,
was
no, she kept saying like, "Oh, the wedding's off, the wedding's off," and she did that a couple
Mhm.
times.
So
But
beginning of 2016, she's like,
yeah, it was like a. So she, when you tell your parents like about your relationship, there's like no coming back from that. You can vent to your friends,
right.
but once you go parent wise and you just like, okay, so she talks to her parents because they're the ones that actually get the U-Haul, drive a U-Haul in
Oh.
March of 2016. Well, he's at work.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's at work and then they're loading everything up. And when he gets home and it's an empty house.
Oh, that's kind of crappy.
So and it's like, since nobody was there other than them. So the question that I only had was this totally out of the blue, or was she like hinting to him like, hey, this isn't working, like, and trying to talk about this? And then there's like this emotional abuse. Again, that's just the wording that was used to me. There was never anything physical. There's no physical violence in their relationship that anybody had told me about. And I've talked to quite a few people.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody ever said anything physical. And then it was just like an emotional type of abuse. And that he had said quotes like, when I say said them, Monique put these in text messages to her friends, and I was like, hey, if I'm going to go with the story, I got to see this, because otherwise I'm not going to, report this. Right. And so I actually physically saw the 2016 text messages, and it was,
shut up.
Yeah. So when
keep telling us everything, be Carrie Roberts, tell us everything.
So when she had moved, like, I think his world was rocked. Like,
yeah.
And it would have been something like, okay, she just needs a minute. She's going to come back. Okay. But everything, like, she packed up everything in a U-Haul, left with her car, and then they had the U-Haul, and she went then to her parents' house. And then he was sending letters and packages, signing stuff like love, not like Michael or Mike. It was love your husband. Love your husband. Like stuff like that. And then
a little passive aggressive there.
Yeah. Well, because she's over here like, we're getting divorced, and I just want us to sign the papers and do and handle everything, and then just turn it, just get this dissolved, and we don't have kids. We have nothing. Like,
right.
Nobody has money.
Go our separate ways. The thing about it, and I don't mean to speak ill of the dead, and I'm certainly not insinuating anything like that in reference to her, but I would hope that it was a very, very emotionally abusive relationship for her to do that, because if it was anything but that,
that's where it comes down to. Usually, like, if you're gonna, because a story that's coming out now, and I have not been able to vet it, is that well, hold on, let me tell you the text message that I have.
Oh, yes, please.
It is that he wrote her in 2016 and said, as soon as I basically get my $500,000 signing bonus when I'm done with my schooling here to go then on my next place, I'm going to be able to buy you, whatever. But more importantly, I'm going to be able to buy wherever you're living. I'm going to be able to buy the house next to you. And I'm basically going to be, you're never not going to live without me.
Sure. You had to live in your car to get the house that you're in now because of your prickliness. Are you really that confident? Are you?
Yeah. He's like, I'm going to be, and he did like, but he went on to be like this vascular surgeon. So,
think about
in
that
Virginia, then he goes to Maryland, then he goes to Las Vegas, then he goes to Cali, then he goes to Chicago. So like, I was able to track all of his movements. But the thing that was interesting about tracking him is he is a ghost, though. Like, I seriously said when I was doing this before I got confirmation from the family, I was like, Bella, I'm telling you, this kid was adopted. And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, watch, I'm telling you, sure as shit, motherfucker's adopted. I was like, because he was, all these different Michael McKees were also becoming, he was like trying to like hide his whereabouts. And then sure as shit, what ends up coming out is that he gave the hospital that he worked at in Vegas a lot of wrong numbers. Somebody was speaking Spanish number. Somebody that name's Miguel. Somebody
Shut up.
Yeah. So all of this stuff. And I'm like, this is why all of his background, when we were looking into him, it was morphed with other Dr. Michael McKees. Like usually doctors are proud. We couldn't, yeah, you know what I mean?
Prominent in the community.
Yeah.
Typically are very philanthropic. Yes. Very much your kind of your core is what I would call those people.
They have
and
a
if
lot,
they're not, you do kind of go, what are you doing?
Yeah. And so like we couldn't find, there was no, he didn't get remarried. He's on Facebook and he's got like this pretty little wife with this pretty little kids in this pretty little house. None of that. So you couldn't really find much on him unless you started really, really, really digging. And then, and I was boots on the ground covering it. And because I was local, I realized that we had mutual friends though. I had mutual friends with the victims.
Oh,
so because I saw that, and then their family was actually from Cincinnati, like the Tepe side.
Uh-huh.
I went to Cincinnati, so that we had people that we had mutual friends with that. And then that's kind of how my relationship, like once a Bearcat man, always a Bearcat. They were Bearcats. You know, Rob's a Bearcat. That's the brother-in-law. That's Spencer's sister's husband. And they were all Bearcats. I'm a Bearcat. And so I was like, dude, I have to help these people. Like I have to help this family.
Yeah.
And we just went outside the box to that whole wedding video and looking at Google Trends, because they have a very Spencer Tepe name and Monique Tepe. Those are not names that just anybody's going to have.
Correct. Yeah. It's not Brown.
Yeah. So you can look up, and that's what we did. We looked at the Google Trends with the names. We looked up phrases to see if people were Googling them, because if he had the money, he could also get a hitman. Because of that wedding video, we were wondering who was watching it and when they were watching it, where they were watching it from, how many views happened right before the murders, because that wedding video was put out so many years beforehand for those two that who would be viewing it just
why would you be
a couple
on
days before before the murders. So yeah, but I think the way that it ended from an unvetted now story claim with this girl that said she dated him. He had shared with her a little bit about, that he was divorced and that his wife just up and left. And now the new piece is that they took a dog that they shared together. I didn't hear that. And I actually want to ask my source about that. If they had a dog named Bella. I don't know. And I'm going to find out though.
So that was one of the things I was going to ask you about. Are there any sort of stories or any ideas as to how he got in the house? Like, how did that all, and clearly he was just 100% obsessed with her. And it sounds like as time went by, seething anger.
Yeah, I don't think he could get over it. I don't think that he got past that. I think that there was no closure there for him. And so I don't know if it was affecting him, like,
right.
His
ability to function on a day-to-day basis that became all-consuming, truly obsessed.
Mm-hmm. And then I would expect to hear questions though, like if not things like I'm going to go buy the house that's right next to you that he was writing her or saying to her back in 2016, but things like why would you just leave like that? Like, you know what I mean? Like I'd be questioning that. That'd be my question is like, who the hell would just leave like that? And,
right.
But I don't know.
That was what I was saying.
Maybe those questions would be there and we don't know. I'm interested to see that, but I think that had a lot from my opinion, and not saying that that's, oh my God, this is her fault or anything like that.
No, I don't.
Yeah. I just think that when somebody's asking why 8 years later, I think he thought about it a lot. I think that he was truly methodical. I don't think that he realized because he's a student, so he did a lot of studying. And I think that he would have been somebody to study this crime that he's going to go commit, and he wants to get away with it. Who goes on and becomes a vascular surgeon and can go and have this like great life if you want, like at your fingertips, right? And you're like, but instead you're plotting a murder of your ex-wife who you had no kids with, no financial, like she didn't take you to the rake you over the coals, nothing like that.
No, she was like, just leave me alone.
Yeah,
I just want to go.
It's just, you know what? I don't even want to be in Virginia. Maybe our paths will cross down the road, but it seemed like it couldn't even end that type of way because, again, of this emotional abuse. She would refer to him as the monster. And so,
do you think that the video that was sent out of the individual walking in the alley, do you think that was him?
I don't think it's him, but they're saying that it's him.
It'll be super easy to figure out because whoever that was had a very, very distinct gait.
I think they had a very distinct as well. They're very pigeon-toed.
Yes, that's what I noticed immediately. The left more than the right. Distinct.
Yeah.
I was like, people are like, well, you can't tell anything in this video. And I'm like, actually, I can. I mean, unless we've got like a Kaiser Soze kind of situation with usual suspect, and they're pretending to have this walk. And that's possible too. Also, if he knew that he was on camera.
Oh, he had to have. That's the thing that I wanted to know. That's why we went down there a lot to do it, is where you see that footage, that's actually walking towards the house. So that had to be before the murders.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, that was never clear to me.
Yeah. And then so it's clear to us because we know where that's at.
Right.
So that's walking towards the house, which means that he would have parked in an area that's going to be right by where there's a police station, which is mind blowing.
Yeah.
They have a ton of cameras down there. And that means when he would have left, I'm curious, did he leave the same way? Because again, like I said, the camera that has him, walking this way is going to have him walking, this way, unless he took a different path out.
Obviously took a different path.
I don't know about that because now they're saying, yeah, this is why I can't wait to get this PCA lifted. Because now that he's in Ohio, we can have this arraignment. If he's going to be able to make bail, whatever's going to go on with that. But then we're going to be able to get that big old 5-6 pages that they wrote up.
Tell us. Yes.
Yeah. And so we've been doing hella research on what we think. I think they use flock cameras, which is a new and upcoming thing with these license plate readers. We have in Columbus here, we have, it's called Shot Spotter. And you can have it when you shoot off a gun. We have these detections, and it uses the radio frequency of how long it took for the shot to get from this, they're passing the frequencies of it, and then how long it takes to travel, and they're able to triangulate and pinpoint where that gunshot came from.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. And so that didn't register. Yeah, that didn't register. They had a ton of cameras. They had their Ring camera, and I think what they're going to do is they're going to say they believe a suppressor was used because there was no sound being heard even on like the Ring from the next door or from their own and then the next door neighbor. And here, I'll give you a piece of tea that nobody knows about this yet.
Yeah.
Not only did he get in, like, how did you get in? No forced entry.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be interesting because the cops weren't the first people there. Those 3 individuals that went into the house for the wellness check.
Yes.
Well, I think we're going to be hearing here once the probable cause gets released that the master bedroom door was locked. So when they went to go try to get in, they couldn't. And so this person, whoever did this, after they shot them to death, both of them, she turned the lock before they pulled the bedroom door closed, protecting the kids not being able to get into that room to see the carnage. So this person actually was protecting the kids, but that you just orphaned. Okay.
That's such a twisted way to look at it.
Yeah. Or did you also make it so that they couldn't get to a phone to call for help?
Yeah, because there would likely be cell phones in there charging if they were sleeping.
Exactly. But so how crazy is it that, I mean, this is a methodical, planned out That because you're always supposed to look at the inside out, right? And how somebody would actually look at this murder, these two murders would be, wow, if you're closing the bedroom door and actually locking it so to protect the kids, then you would actually look really close inside of that inner circle to see who would have done this, because you're
Who would take that
protecting
kind
the
of care?
kids.
Yes.
Exactly. Him, why the hell does he care? You know?
Yeah.
But that door was they couldn't get into it.
If that is true, and I don't mean that the door was locked, but I'm saying if it's true that he did it for, allegedly he did it to protect the children, there's a lot of mental dysfunction going on there.
Well, I don't know if I think it could have potentially been part of his plan. In order to get away with this, right? He's going to be doing things that would point the police in all these other directions than obviously his. We believe that he left both of his cell phones. He was on call that night, we believe. And that's what gave him like this alibi. And so he was on call. He left his cell phones there. We believe that they were
at their house?
No, at his work.
Oh, I was going to say, oh my goodness, what?
Yeah, no. So that he didn't have,
no tracking.
Yes, and then it's going to be staying within that geo fence that was done around where he's at, and then the geo fence that's done around where the house isn't going to have a foreign, IME number coming in.
How do you think he got in the house? Do you have any theories, or does anybody have?
Yeah, I think he popped the lock. I didn't realize, and now actually I'm getting a new door because of this case. When I did a video, it's like 2 or 3 minute video. It's called Yale Smart. That's what they used. That's what they had on this door that they had. You can pop those locks. It's one of the easiest locks to pop. And I had no idea.
Really? This is like Ellen Greenberg,
Yeah. And then you have these little devices that, because not only did they had Simply Safe inside the house. So they had sensors on the doors, which would chime.
Sure.
So like, front door open, or it would do like the ring type of thing. And you can get these little, they're like, they block the
frequency from
and then when you open up the door, it makes it so the sensor doesn't go off. But I was like, the police labeled it, the crime happened at 3:52 a.m. like on the money. Like they didn't say like between 3:30 and 4. No, they said that this crime happened at 3:52 a.m. And I'm like, okay, that's a digital footprint that they have. And
very specific.
A watch that somebody was wearing in their heart, if it was like, we have no more pulse type of thing on your iWatch, or
right.
Yeah. Or you're looking at your, off of possibly the ring, if it did catch a like muffled something or whatever. But you have, or the door sensors when you left, because you forgot to use the door sensor when you went to leave.
Right. The other thing too is if either one of them had an Apple Watch on and there wasn't some sort of silencer, it's going to register a loud, above frequency. What is that? You know what I'm talking about? My Apple Watch was
and potentially steps when you got out of bed.
Sure.
Like when Jennifer McKe got out of bed, she had her watch on and she took some steps.
Is that like before or after she was making sure she was brushing her teeth for the
something FBI. Like that? Something like that, right? They're always up to no good over there in Boston. Yeah, no, it's the other thing is I think he was potentially surveying them with other ways, because they were out of town for 2 days during Christmas, and then they had people over for like the next 2 days. And it was like, how did you know that it would have been December 29th that nobody else was there with them? Because they always have people.
Right.
And I'm like, how did he know that? Especially when I found out that the car in front of the house that got left there, because people like going out and they're like, oh, I'm going to Uber, so I'm leaving my car type of thing. So there was a car that was out front that if he's surveying that area, and knows they would have thought, oh wow, that's so-and-so's car. That would mean that her sister and her brother-in-law would have been there. if you're just looking.
Right.
And I'm just like, so how did he
get around that?
How did he know that nobody was going to be there that night when they just had literally been out of town in Cincinnati celebrating Christmas, 25th, 26th.
Here's something else to really freak you out that could be a possibility. As thorough and well thought out and planned all of this was, could it be possible that he got in that home before, when there was no one in there, and put some sort of tracking or surveillance on his own so he would know when there was nobody else in there to be able to go? Like, this guy sounds pretty creepy.
Yeah, I even think he could have done like a dry run. Because I think the hardest part would be can I even get into this house
without
setting off any type of detection? So if I'm going to do it when I know that they're not there, right? And then let's see what happens once I, can I breach it once I get in? Is it being alerted? Am I able to even block it? Because this way, if someone's not there, you can get up out of Dodge and it would just be like, the Teppies would have gotten a notification that, something was being ajarred and
right.
And, that's not us. Like, go ahead, send somebody. It would be still like a process. So I thought about that if he did like a dry run where
I think he had something in the house.
There was an Airbnb across the street that I found that has like a direct line of sight to like their house. And so I thought about that. I'm like, maybe he was renting out an Airbnb.
And just watching.
Well, could set up a camera. And so he sets up a camera, then he can watch from Chicago, but he's able to,
be there all the time.
Yeah.
I think that's very, 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 very much a possibility. Something along those lines, because it would not have made sense for him to have any knowledge that it was only the four of them in that home.
1000%.
So
and then where the dog normally sleeps. Like I just was hoping that I don't want it to come out. It'd break my heart if he was able to infiltrate somehow a friend of theirs, or that somebody he was able to get to become a friend and then is feeding information, like something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That would be like heartbreaking to find out. But I think he clearly did this when he was on call, left his phone, all of that. I think that you could not put it past the fact that he would try to make it so that he thought of everything.
Right.
He's the smart guy,
Well, and he had plenty of time.
Well, yeah. And then so I asked one of these guys that is, he's been doing BAU stuff for the FBI. I was like, when do you think he started thinking about that? Hey, I'm going to actually do it. He's like, for a while. He's like, then they go through the process of like, what's the plan actually going to be when you get inside? It's one thing that you plan to like, okay, when you're going to do it, how you're going to, but they usually then have when they sit down and say, how are you going to like plan the attack then once you're in? And I'm like, wow, that's really creepy when you put it that way, to think about that. Okay, now you're in. Now what do you do? Do you run upstairs, hurry up, and try to like?
Yeah, because it's not like a Betty Broderick situation where she's like in a fit of rage and I don't know if you know who that is, but she blasted into the bedroom and shot both of them in bed out of literal rage that he chose this other woman over her and took her life away. That's not what this is.
Yeah, because he could have had her isolated, or like, hey, figured out where she goes grocery shopping. There's just, you could have got to her tons of different ways, but here he wanted to do it in their home where their kids sleep. He's there too, and he wanted to take out both of them, and that's what that guy was more or less talking me through. That once you've made the decision that you're going to do it at that home in the middle of the night, you know what you're taking on. That means you're going to kill both of them.
Right.
And I'm like, that's fucked up. Like when you break it all down and to say that it wasn't like an accident that or that both of them were killed and not just her. It was like, that was part of the plan. And then he locks the door, closes it behind him. That's part of his plan.
Yeah. Like, orphan the children, but protect them.
Yeah.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing, sir?
Yeah. Crazy, right?
Well, I got a few questions here. Let's see if we can get to some of these questions. Did either of them wear an Aura ring? That would also give very similar information as an
Like the
Apple
iWatch.
Watch would.
Yeah. I don't know that answer, but I know that people have been thinking about that.
Do we know if there were any false alarms in the past at the Tepe home? I'm assuming is the question.
Yeah. And not that, like, I don't have that answer, but I'm sure that that's been looked into. There was issues. There was issues that people were trying to say that something was off with the internet. I was like, no, it doesn't matter. Like, I didn't hear that. So for all I know is that everything was working perfectly fine in terms of the, the people that I talked to, they weren't like saying, oh, this is what happened on, a week ago or something like that. So I don't have any information like that.
And do we have confirmation that neighbors saw him in front of the house in the days before?
Yeah, that was a new thing that was just, I don't even know why or where that came from. That came at the latest press conference. And I can tell you that has never been said to me ever once.
That he was seen.
Yes. And I was asking a lot of questions, and I was asking a lot of questions like, but then again, maybe some stuff they're like, hey, we're going to just hold back and not tell Lana everything. I mean, I don't know. But I asked a ton of people questions, and I think I asked people that were pretty close to the situation, the questions, and
that would know.
Yeah, especially because you want to search. If that's the case, you need to go look through your cameras, right? And show that, dude, it was like Fort Knox over there, man. All these people had cameras.
That's what I was going to ask. That was going to be the next question I asked. Like
cameras galore.
So every single neighbor, and maybe is that what?
Yeah, and that's not counting the flock cameras. There was 27 cameras that we counted, and we put them all down with the addresses, and it was in this just little radius. Plus, it was one-way streets. So like then you're also like blocking yourself in that you could only go certain ways to get out of there.
If you're driving, yes.
Yep, and that's why I said if you're smart, you would have walked out at least 5 blocks. And
so what were the conditions as far as snow? Was there fresh snow? Was it old snow? Had it been plowed? I'm trying to figure out footprints type of thing.
Yeah. And there was, but there was nothing. It was I can't remember if it had started to come down as the morning progressed.
Oh, so it would have
versus like anyway. If it was the best video, I think is that, you could see that person kind of walking, like there was nothing, packed down on the ground. Now, if you were to go on the grass, I think in Rumbush and any of the grass, there could have been stuff there. But like I said, I think that all got ruined when you have the people responding to the wellness check and not the cop.
Well, and it's funny because I know that when this very first happened and no one knew who it was, there were a lot of people going, oh my gosh, he was only an hour late for work. Like, is that a reason to be alarmed and everything? Let me just tell you all. Let me quell some fears because I did a little survey in my office because I work in management.
Okay.
And so I asked my staff, so, hey guys, if Janet didn't show up and you didn't hear anything from me for an hour, what would you do? And I didn't tell them anything about this case or anything. I just said, what would you do? And I got one that said, well, I'd call Mr. Demeanor. And I'm like, okay, that's a good option.
Yeah.
What if you can't get him? Oh, well, if we can't get him, we're probably going to go to your house. And I said, really? And then what happens? Well, then we might be calling 911 and going to your house at the same time because I am never, ever, ever not at work on time. Or if I'm not on time, there is never, ever a possibility that I don't tell someone.
That you're not, especially with cell phones nowadays, like it's right there at your fingertips. You would just call and say, hey, I'm going to be there. You know what I mean? Like, and I had to get this to people's heads. I'm like, Spencer had an hour-and-a-half drive. He knows when he's walking out the door, if he has even the potentiality of being late, he's going to know that an hour and a half, you know what I mean?
Yes!
Because that's the drive. So it's like, It's not like he's like, oh, I think I can make it. I'll just go faster. No, dude, if you left at 7, you had to be there at 8, you're never going to, it's an hour and a half drive. So anybody that wasn't understanding that to me is just like, and this is a dentist. This is,
people were like, oh my gosh, I think this is excessive. Like, why are you getting so alarmed over something like this? And I'm like, okay, y'all need to like talk to me and my staff, because I am absolutely not one of those people that can't be found. I am. We watched the preliminary hearing yesterday with in the disappearance of Dee Warner, and everyone said her cell phone was attached to her. There was never a time that she didn't answer, and if she didn't answer, she'd call you right back. And I was like, I totally can identify with this woman, because that's kind of how I am. Like if I were missing and no one could get a hold of me for even 30 minutes. There's going to be some alarm, because I'm just not available.
Especially depending on what time it was. Like,
yeah,
it's not like you're trying to get a hold of me like at 6 o'clock at night or 7 o'clock at night where I could be, but if you're trying to get a hold of me at 9 and I'm supposed to be at work at 9 and then you're trying me again all until 10 and you can't get in touch with me, and then you call my significant other and you can't get in touch with them, because if it's a work day, I'm supposed to be somewhere, like that's totally different than, oh, I couldn't get a hold of Lana and it was like 7 or 8 at night. Like you don't know my plans and what I do at night, but you know my routine.
Yes, the morning. Yeah, morning
you know
stuff
what I mean?
is.
It's just like, where else could I be? I would have thought that he got in a car accident, but that's where my head would have been.
So my staff knows. I said, I don't care if you're going to be late, but do not be late and not call me or text me. I have to know. And I said, because Mama Bear goes through my head and I think you're dead in a ditch.
Yeah.
And I have trauma because I worked for a company I think I was barely 21 at the time. So it was a long time ago. And, one of the vice presidents, it was Valentine's Day and there was a bad ice storm, and everybody, where's John? Where's John? Where's John? Where's John? And come to find out there was a fatal accident on the expressway, and it was him. And his wife ended up coming in that afternoon, a mess, talking, he's gone. He had passed away. So it has actually happened to me to lose a coworker on their commute into work. So yeah, I have like massive PTSD. Yeah. So all of my staff, they're like, you got to let her know, because she's going to go crazy. She'll be blowing you up, calling your emergency numbers and everything else.
Well, you have every reason to.
Yeah, right. Do we have confirmation that neighbors saw him? I already did that one. I am so sorry.
Yeah, so they just need to look at those cameras. I mean, it'll be interesting. If that's what they told the police, again, they could have totally said that. But I would love to know how they knew it was him, because he was never on the radar, and she always referred to him as like, she never called him by his name.
By his name.
Yeah, she never did. So maybe once maybe the neighbors were shown like a photo of somebody, but you're normally not supposed to do it like that. So
did you ever get an answer about the piece of fencing that was down between the houses?
Oh yeah, it was normal. It was all good. All good.
Did their alarm go off
prior to? Is what I mean. Like,
oh, gotcha.
Probably have to replace them, but it was not from that evening.
Yeah, no one damaged it or anything. Did their alarm go off when the friends got in there?
Good question. Like when they walked in for like the wellness check. I'm sure that's what yeah. That to me, I don't have the answer to that, and it was all a big fuzzy mess. And I don't know if people were trying to be more quiet about that because it was like we broke in, so we don't want to say that or what. But that is going to come out. Yeah, I don't have the answer to that, but I think
that's a good question too.
It was being so fuzzy about it.
They didn't want people to know.
Well, because the friends were like, "Wait a second, the community all thinks that we're shady here, but yet the cops won't come out and be honest about the fact that they went to the wrong house. So who's going to break this?" And I'm over here. I already knew that something was wrong when the incident report, when there ended up being 2 incident report numbers. I was like, no. I was like, I went and got the body cam. And then the chief had to come out and do a press conference basically because they were releasing that to me. And so she had to come out and say that he went to the wrong house. I'm like, knew it. But
Wow.
for 8 days, people are getting thrown under the bus that you
There was
guys,
a lot of shade. Yeah.
and I'm telling you, I hope to God that they have a ton of the evidence that they say that they have, because that little blunder in the beginning messed with the crime scene.
Yeah.
Like, all, because it truly did. So I'm hoping that they have this gun and that this gun matches. And it, I mean, still, that's science, but
Surely they have a bunch of stuff
I
besides
think so.
what we know.
Well, I think the biggest thing for people to wrap their heads around, even in the beginning, is why 9 years later, what does this guy have? What does he care? You know what I mean?
That is so weird to me.
It's a long time.
Hey, Lana, I was wondering, did they ever figure out who called 911 back in April that they said it wasn't Mo's voice?
Yes, it wasn't Mo's voice, and they have the number that called. So the police have that.
Ah. Mom, did you ever get an answer about why there was that weird 911 call back in April that they said was not her voice, the wife's?
Okay. Yeah. So they have that. They have the it was a Verizon phone, and they had the phone number, and so they talked to the person. The cops did.
And yes, Whitney, you're absolutely correct. The office literally couldn't start without the dentist. Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's not like my office that they're like, oh gosh, our manager isn't here, but okay, y'all do work, do the work.
And so the one thing I'm waiting for also to hear about is they say that they found only three shell casings. Okay. Well, both of these people were shot multiple times. That means there's more than 3 shell casings. Because in order for me to be shot at least twice, multiple times, and you to be shot, let's say twice, there's 4. So I'm really curious on if he potentially left shell casings that didn't have anything to do with that crime scene. Because when I say that I know that they only took 3, it's because in the preliminary investigative report, there was only 3. So and
they were both shot twice?
Well, they were both shot multiple times.
Well, not saying how many.
So, but that has to be more than 3.
That's even worse.
So I'm like, where's this other shot? Why would he? So he just picked up some of them. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. I was like, I could see him again leaving different shell casings and taking the ones that, I'm just saying, I don't put anything past his smarts. And there's certain things that you just can't overcome, which is if the LPR readers, they didn't need a search warrant for those for the first 2-hour mark or whatever. Like when you do a 2-hour BRAC, and it's a murder case and you can put a case next to it. So, I just like learning new ways that the government is spying on us, and I like learning new ways on how, oh my God, like this is what's going on now. It's always a case that brings out something in that I'm like, I had no idea that
I know
that technology.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't remember what I was watching just recently. And the person was like, yes, it may have been, and this is even scarier, the Holly Bobo trial. And there was a gentleman, a U.S. Marshal that specializes in locating people. And he had representation as he was testifying. And this testimony was in 2017. And
what day of the trial was that? Do you remember?
Oh, I don't remember
all that stuff.
I can tell you that it was Marshal John Walker is who was being questioned. And,
perfect.
And he just was like, can I answer that? And then he goes, yes, we can find you that way. Like, I can't tell you how, but we can find you. And I was like, and that was 9 years ago.
I'm telling you, timing advanced records as well. It'll just be it'll be interesting. The new flock stuff that they can fly the drones and be the first responders with drones is insane. But we have it here.
That is so cool. Yeah, I'm excited to see how this all unfolds.
I'm excited to read these papers that are. We should have them in the next couple of days. He should be arraigned here soon. Like I said, they did a stealth operation in the middle of the night to bring him here. So I don't have pictures of the van or him getting out, but we were like so jacked to be able to get these, and it kept going and going, where they were like, I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna sit out at the damn sheriff's office for the next week to 4 weeks. I got shit I gotta do. Okay, I'm not gonna get this van picture then. All right, so fuck your van picture. People are like, you better get
I got videos to edit.
I'm like, we're gonna get damn him rolling in a van. You know what I mean? Like,
and you're lucky you'd sit there all that time, and then he'd get out, and you wouldn't be able to see anything at all.
Yeah, well, then they'd bring him around back or something like that, unless I want to like.
Oh yeah, send me the new mugshot picture, so I'll share that with everyone.
Oh, here you go. Yeah, I can do that. Okay, cool. Anything else? What can you think of? You have any of your own questions? I'll send this to you now.
I mean, I feel like
I'm trying to think what else I have too.
Do you think they knew very, very early on in their investigation that it was him?
Well, I think that the people that they talked to immediately, like the family and stuff, they immediately were saying it was them. And so the cops had two ways to go with it. Either you guys are all pointing the finger at this dude, okay, and then maybe we should be suspicious of y'all. But yeah, I think that the family was immediately on and saying it's him. And if it's when they released that video, because the family, I think, was like, well, then he would have hired a hitman. When it came down to like, if he has an alibi, and if his alibi is that he's at work because his phones are there and they hadn't gone any deeper yet, then it's just interesting because it's like, and then his alibi blows up, and I think where it blows up is the whole the LPRs, because his alibi was golden until the LPR readers has his it was his car license plate.
I was going to say it was his own vehicle going.
And so,
and he probably made sure not to hit any toll roads.
That's what I think, and then, which makes it even a longer trip. So it was 6 hours and 44 minutes if you do not stop, which means you have to have gas cans in your car to even just pull off the side of the road, fill up, because you can't, it's too many miles.
Right.
You have to get gas, unless if you would I mean, if he took that trip in a Tesla, some electric car, absolutely idiotic, because then you're just talking about
you're not at that temperature.
You're totally tracked though, like
but not at that temperature. A Tesla. Oh, the batteries don't work. Electric vehicles, when it gets to a certain temperature, they just stop.
They just literally.
My son used to be an Amazon delivery driver, and he had an electric Amazon delivery van. And we lived in Tennessee at the time. And he calls me. He's like, "Yeah, I'm just sitting here." I'm like, "What do you mean you're just sitting there?" He's like, "Yeah, it's electric, so it's too cold." So I'm just sitting here. They had to literally bring another van to him and haul that one away.
Wow.
So yeah, electric vehicles are great if you live in a warm climate, but in that climate, you wouldn't have wanted to have an electric vehicle. That puppy would have just been like, "I'm done."
Right. Yeah.
So that's not an option for him.
I don't think he would have. I mean, those are the number one track cars is a Tesla. So I think he had a regular car. But and then if you stay away from the toll roads, it's even longer. I looked up all the different rest stops in the area, because it was like at that point, I was just trying to provide ways to. He had to get gas. You don't understand. You cannot make it that far. If no gas you have to stop somewhere
for almost 7 hours.
Yeah, unless you plan to have gas cans in your trunk, and then you can pull off on the side of the road and just fill up and act like you just, ran out of gas, it's no big deal. But he would have to have, again, that's another planning piece of it.
Right.
And so you'd have to have gas to go there. And I think that's if he like,
I guess that's true. If somewhere on the side of the road, gas, you'd be like, "Oh man, they ran out." Whatever.
Yeah, like
you're right.
I'm saying like you would pull off the side of the road on like the highway and take care of it there. I would never pull to like a rest stop or like a gas station.
No, that's what I'm talking about too.
Yeah. And then so
people
like
passing would just be like, "Oh yeah, they ran out of gas."
Yeah,
whatever.
Like they're gonna need to have like a dash cam at that point to even remotely be believable. But
did you send me the
did it go through? Shot? Oh no, here. Did I?
I thought refresh here again. I don't want to keep you because I know you've got a hard stop. We're already 2 minutes past. So
okay. Well, why isn't it? It should be pulling up when I did the. Hold on one second. I'm on my other Oh God.
And it's possible.
What email can I just plug in really quick to do that? Is it
it's Ms. Janet Demeanor.
Okay.
And I see a bunch of comments in the chat saying that cold weather electric vehicles working fine. Maybe they've changed something with Tesla, but I can tell you that most electric vehicles, the batteries get drained.
He's screwed.
I'm sorry?
I said if he went ahead and did that, he's an idiot. Hold on one second. Because it's tracking you.
Right,
like,
right.
Tesla, like at that point, you might as well. Why'd you even give yourself? Why'd you even give yourself an alibi? Why'd you do this on a night that you're trying to make it seem like you're working when your Tesla is literally tracking you?
Yeah, yeah.
So stupid. I don't know. I'm gonna have to say I can't even find.
It's good.
Okay.
Well, I don't want to keep you because I know you were a busy lady. Thank you so much for giving me an hour of your time.
Yes, thank you. And if you want to go on any of my Teppy videos, feel free, show them whatever.
Good.
Use whatever you want.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me too. Thank you to the chat too. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. Thank you, Sherry D, for asking 39 questions. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. There were a lot of really good questions. So I appreciate everybody. And don't forget to
we'll do this again.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Miss Jen. I appreciate you. Until next time.
Thank you so much, Lana. Absolutely. Make good choices.
Okay. Make good choices. Bye, hun.
Bye. Yay, everybody. So we're not completely done here. I'm going to keep looking to see if I get the mugshot. So one of the things I wanted to cover, in addition to this particular case with Lana, because I knew she was just a fountain of information and knowledge about this particular case, I would have done a complete injustice to try to cover this on my own, because I know she is the guru when it comes to this particular case, because she has put so much into it. And so we're always going to have somebody on that can give us more information than I can find. But something that popped off today, I don't know if you all heard that Brad Simpson had a hearing. Do we all remember who Brad Simpson is? Brad Simpson is going to be on trial for the murder of his wife, Suzanne, in Bexar County, Texas. If you all remember, there is some sort of link to a business associate that is also possibly involved in some way. Suzanne was, I say Suzanne, yeah, it was Suzanne. I'm like, am I thinking Morphew all of a sudden? But no, it is Suzanne. Simpson was heard screaming and being taken from the back of her property and was never seen again by anyone. And they have subsequently charged him with murder. And I'm going to see about pulling this up for everyone. And there is a video. After I read this, we'll go through the video. Oh, I had this all ready to go. And then my computer said, yeah, we're not doing that. Thanks for playing, but nope. Okay. Let's get a little update on Mr. Simpson. Simpson's case had been set for trial in February, but a new motion has pushed it. Wah, wah, wah. That means we will not be doing jury selection in February like we originally thought. Not in this trial, anyway. The trial for an Olmus Park man charged in the 2024 murder of his wife is now delayed due to a new wave of evidence. Now, that part I'm excited about. A new wave of evidence. Oh, do tell. Brad Simpson, 55, is charged in connection with the death of Suzanne, who was last seen on October 6, 2024, at a party at the Argyle in Alamo Heights. Brad Simpson appeared Tuesday morning before Judge Joel Perez, who presides over Bexar County's 437th Criminal District Court. He last appeared in court in September 2025. During the hearing, Perez set Brad Simpson's trial date for February 13th. That's what we were all waiting for. However, What was meant to be a pretrial hearing ended with a motion for a 60-day continuance to review evidence, and no new trial date was set. Last September, a deadline for evidence was set. While most of the evidence was completed before the deadline, waves of more evidence over time have stalled the state, they said Tuesday. After discussion with Simpson's defense team, Perez granted the motion. So a 60-day continuance. I don't believe I have a hard date yet, but I'll keep following. And, I send the calendar reminders on Sundays. I will make sure that I add it here. Okay. Background. If you all aren't aware, we're going to give a little background anyway. Investigators said the couple was involved in a dispute with one another prior to Suzanne's October 2024 disappearance. Brad Simpson reported Suzanne missing the following evening. Despite extensive searches, her remains have not been found. Bexar County court records show that Brad was charged with murder on November 7th, 2024. He was indicted 1 month later. His business partner, James Cotter, has also been charged in connection with this case. Ding, 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 ding. That's the financial business aspect that I think there's going to be more to it when we get to Mr. Cotter. Cotter is accused of helping Simpson hide an AK-47 that was illegally modified. Authorities said the firearm was modified into a machine gun that was not correctly registered. In October 2025, a judge ruled to have Cotter's GPS monitor removed. Surveillance footage gathered by investigators showed Brad Simpson driving with 3 large trash bags, a heavy-duty trash can, and a large bulky item wrapped in a blue tarp the day after his wife's disappearance. An arrest warrant affidavit previously revealed. So you're telling me a community post over on Lana. See, okay, you that are new, Ms. D is not the most technologically savvy, but I'm going to do my very best here to get us going. And then there is a video, about 5-minute video of the hearing today, and I can play that for us as well. Okay, let me go to her page, community, just a post, huh? Oh, here we go. Let me see what I can do here. I'm on it. All right, let me make sure I can share the right thing. Okay. There he is, y'all, in all his glory. Look at that, those eyes. Those are some scary eyes. I'm getting a little creeped out. And of course, I have 2 of them looking at me. I have 2 Michael McKees looking at me. Yeah, this eye here. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing. This eye here. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. No. He does have vanishing lips, crime tourist. And KS Granny, he does look angry. He's like, he's in black. That seems appropriate. Okay, we've all seen the mugshot now. Let me get back to Mr. Simpson here and the video. All righty. I'm hooking us up here. He is so blocky, oh Felicia. I mean, truly, Felicia said he's so blocky. He looks like he's a Lego, like with the square head. He's got like Lego head features, and even like the really tiny mouth, like Legos. He's Lego man. All right. Are we all ready to see some of this hearing? Well, maybe.
When a company vehicle hits you,
Oh,
the fight isn't just against the driver, it's against the corporation and their insurance team. When big companies cause big problems, we get big results.
There's a little turkey.
Okay, 2024 CR 012-097, 2024 CR 012-095, and 2024 CR 012-094. State versus Brad Chandler Simpson. Will the lawyers please state their names?
Casey Sandoval for the state of Texas and Michael Buria.
Stephen Gilmore, Tanya Rivera, and Brittany Durham for Mr. Simpson.
Okay, yes, sir. Are you Brad Chandler Simpson?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yes. Let's see, to the parties. I have here that today we were scheduled for pre-trial hearings. We were scheduled for docket call on February the 13th of 2026, and then jury selection on February the 17th, 2026. So what's the state saying?
Judge, the state has two motions. The first one is regarding that trial date. We do have a motion for continuance for the court to consider. And
Okay. So I learned this little sound booster thing, but y'all, that is in YouTube. This is not in YouTube, so I don't know how to make it louder for you all. I think I have the volume up as high as it will go on this particular video. Yeah, I've got it at 100%. So I'm sorry.
do you need a copy, Judge?
I have talked.
Okay. And the reason we're asking for that, Judge, is the discovery deadline in this case was in September of 2025. And just the sheer volume of discovery that's been given to the state, most of it was completed by September 1st, but we've gotten waves of more evidence over time. And it is, of course, the state has a duty to review all of that evidence, and we've been diligent in doing that, but the volume has made it just to where it's impossible to complete that by the February trial date. So I'm asking the court for a 60-day continuance to complete that review so that we can be diligent in reviewing that evidence to prepare for trial.
Okay, and defense?
Judge, given that I'm entitled to receive the discovery and have to review it before I can provide Mr. Simpson effective assistance at trial, while I can't agree to the continuance, I understand the state's position in the remaining side.
Okay, then in light of the fact that you're getting more discovery and the defense still needs to review that, like you said, provided effective assistance of counsel, I'm going to grant the state's motion for continuance on all three cases. So that's approximately 60-day reset. Does the state have anything else, or the defense have anything else?
We have one more request, Judge, and that is simply to set a hearing on forfeiture by wrongdoing. We're requesting a 3849 hearing in this case before trial to have the court determine whether certain statements of Suzanne should be admitted over the defense's objection.
And you, Counselor, have you had an opportunity to review and reply to that motion?
I've had an opportunity to review the motion. I haven't had an opportunity to reply. Defense is opposed to that motion and will file a written response.
Of course you're opposed.
File your written response so I can review it and then make a determination as to whether or not we're going to go forward on that state's motion. And then is there anything else from the defense?
Judge,
When a company vehicle
Oh, for
hits you,
heaven's sake.
the fight isn't just against the driver, it's against the corporation and their insurance
This is
team.
what happens when you're
When
not
big
on
companies-
YouTube, y'all.
During the state, we've requested personnel files for 3 of the officers
Oh.
involved in this investigation.
Oh, personnel files.
Chief Fidel Villegas, Melissa Campbell, and Jesse Perez. My
Mm.
understanding is that the state is unopposed to subpoenaing these records and turning them over to the court for in-camera inspection, or upon the court may determine any items in those records that are relevant and Brady, and will be turned over to Defense and State under protective order.
And state,
We are unopposed to that motion, Judge.
Well, that sounds like that might be a wild goose chase a bit if there's nothing they're terribly concerned with.
given that the state is unopposed in any way, the typical procedure would be for those files to be produced for the court for an in-camera review. Just because they're produced doesn't mean that they're going to be admissible, of course.
Of course.
And then once I review them, we'll make a determination as to whether there's any Brady or impeachment material in those files. Now, the state, are you going to issue subpoenas for those records and allow the city attorneys for those? What jurisdictions are they?
Almost Park, City of Converse, Bexar County Sheriff, and the Texas Department of Public Safety.
Okay, so just serve those subpoenas on those parties, and that can, I imagine we're going to have a hearing because they're going to come in with the records and potentially file a motion to quash. At least that's what's happened in the past. And so we'll wait that to happen. As soon as those parties reply, then what we'll do is I'll set a hearing on that issue only. Okay.
Okay.
And as soon as they do it, then we'll have a hearing on that matter. Anything else for me to sign?
Nothing from the state at this time, Judge.
Nothing from the bench, Judge.
Okay, so for now, the trial is continued, and then we'll move along as best we can. As soon as I get the IA files, my understanding is some of them may be very large files, is my understanding, and so depending on that, then we'll decide how much time I need to review them, whether they are admissible or not, with certain parts, and then we'll schedule a new scheduling order. I'm just trying to do it as scheduling order, okay?
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge.
That goes to the record on the case.
There's the little turd going out again. Okay, so 60-day continuance. So we're looking at least mid-March before anything is going to happen on this particular case. Now, something else that I was doing a little bit of research, because there is also a hearing coming up this week in this particular case, is Chiron Moore, the former University of Michigan football head coach. And while I was doing, I didn't get a chance to read the entire article, but this just came out. I mean, it says tomorrow, but it's timesofindia.com. Have no clue. But I'm going to pull this up so you all can see kind of what this is saying. Because I found it interesting. He has a hearing this week. Courtney Clenny has a hearing this week as well. So we've got a full docket. I think that Aiden Carney has a hearing this week. Let me consult my docket list here. Oh, Michael McKe, the 23rd. Aiden Carney, the 23rd. Courtney Clenny, the 23rd. Chiron Moore, the 22nd. And of course, Brad Simpson's hearing was today. So let's read what the Times of India is saying about Chiron Moore. Faces renewed scrutiny as former Michigan players break silence on what really went wrong. Let me see if I can get this in a better, an easier to view and read form. How about that? Y'all probably would appreciate that. There we go. Let's get all the mess out. Former Michigan players have backed Anthony Simpson's claim that unfair internal dynamics limited his role under Chiron Moore. Simpson alleged favoritism and pressure influenced lineup decisions despite support from team leaders. Reactions from ex-teammates amplified concerns about culture and transparency. The episode has reopened scrutiny of Moore's tenure and raised fresh questions about trust, accountability, and program stability moving forward. The mood around the Michigan Wolverines has shifted from uneasy to openly uncomfortable. What once felt like isolated frustration is now being spoken aloud. Former players are no longer whispering concerns privately. They are backing claims publicly. And the timing could not be worse for a program trying to stabilize its identity after a turbulent coaching chapter. At the center of the conversation is Chiron Moore, whose short tenure continues to draw scrutiny even after his departure. While investigations and administrative decisions closed one chapter, player testimony has opened another. This time, it is about trust, fairness, and how decisions were made behind closed doors in Ann Arbor. Michigan football faces fresh scrutiny after ex-players back Anthony Simpson's claims. Former Michigan wide receiver Anthony Simpson did not quietly move on. Instead, he chose clarity. After seeing the field for just 24 offensive snaps despite a productive past, Simpson shared his experience in full view of the public. His statement struck a nerve because it went beyond playing time. It questioned integrity, targets versus non-targets. I was the best slot receiver for Michigan, and I was treated unfairly due to Chiron Moore being blackmailed by players and staff members. Whoa. Which jeopardized my opportunity to get on the field. Fastest player on the team, and I won reps every day in practice, only there for fall camp. Our team captains also advocated for me to play. I was denied fairness. What followed mattered just as much. Former players Christian Dixon and Raheem Anderson did not dismiss the claim. They reinforced it, signaling that Simpson's words carried weight inside the locker room long before they reached social media. For Michigan, the concern is not one player leaving. It is the pattern that these comments suggest. Perception shapes recruiting, retention, and belief inside a program. When former players echo similar frustrations, it becomes more than noise. It becomes a credibility test. With a new season approaching and fresh leadership in place, Michigan has a chance to reset. But rebuilding confidence often takes longer than rebuilding a depth chart. So, I think there were a lot more shenanigans going on than anybody realized. What a messed up program. It's a wonder they were able to win a single game. I mean, imagine how good we're going to play once we finally have all of this mess behind grief. And I do know they're making a lot of changes in the Michigan program, not just with coaching staff. Kyle Whittingham is the new head coach, which I'm very excited for. He is giving me some very strong Bo Schembechler vibes, and that makes me happy. But there have been some shakeups in the administration as well, and I think it is much needed. I just wanted to make sure I did that little review. I think everybody understands what's happening with Aiden Carney, so I don't necessarily have a huge interest in going into what the hearing is going to cover. There's plenty of information out there. And of course, you can always go to him yourself if you want an update. However, Courtney Clenny, I will be trying to follow that as closely as possible this week. And by the way, Kelly, where are you? Good evening, Kelly. You were not on earlier when I had to give a shout out to you because I ended my very long live stream yesterday and completely neglected to say thank you for hanging the entire day and keeping the chat under control. I very much appreciate it. And I completely spaced on it. I was driving into work this morning and I went, oh, I never said thank you. How rude. Find someone to do something nice for today. How about a thank you, Ms. Demeanor? Can you throw one of those out every once in a while? How about that? So I very much thank you for all that you did yesterday and continue to do every time for me. Scheduling for reviews or anything, I have absolutely no idea what next week is going to bring. So I can tell you, I have the possibility of some real life things changing in the next week or two. And so it's hard for me right now to lock down or lock in on anything until I have a little bit better idea. So follow social media, follow my Twix, make sure, or TikTok. I generally post on TikTok every day. And also I generally try to post in the comments on YouTube, anything that may be coming up as well. I just have this very weird space, and I feel like by the end of this week, I'll have a better idea of what the future might hold. So it's difficult for me to be very solid on anything right now. That being said, we still have a lot of cases that we need to catch up on and talk about. I think what may end up happening is there might be a possibility of a weekend stream, because it's going to be a long one. We need to get ready for Corey Richins, y'all, because that is tiptoeing right up the path, and we're going to be knocking on the door of Corey Richins at trial with Judge McDreamy, because he has such a great voice. Don't we all love Judge Mrazek? I love Judge Mrazek. So that's kind of what I'm thinking I'm going to be covering next week, or possibly on the weekend. It's just going to depend on how things unfold. So, oh yeah, Felicia, we'll be walking everybody's dogs. We're going to be walking so many dogs. We're going to look like Mike Crawford from Young Jerks, if you don't know who that is, because he's a dog walker. So, yeah, Judge, we love Judge Mrazek's voice. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Very much looking forward to that. So, that being said, I'm going to check my docket to see if there is anything else. Dale Warner's trial is coming up. Next Tuesday. So keep your eyes peeled for what I might be doing, because I don't know what I'm going to be doing. As far as other channels, what you can catch, obviously, Lana has great content, especially when it comes to the Tepe murders. Katnat Williams has been doing a great job covering the au pair trial that looks like an absolute disaster. Y'all, that's a mess. I know the original prosecutor, was drinking in the parking lot, got arrested, drunk driving, the whole thing, and they had to get a new prosecutor. I'm not sure that the sober prosecutor is any better than the drunk prosecutor might have been. It's bad. It's really bad, y'all. It's really bad. She is covering that. Defense Diaries is still going through the outrage and the replay of Zach Adams' trial. And so you can catch that in the afternoons. They typically are streaming. And I don't know for sure what my friends at Justice Served TV are covering on the daily. I know they've been doing a lot on Uvalde, and also they have been covering the ICE arrests and that. And y'all know, I don't do politics. I don't do controversial things. So we will not be discussing that here. But if you're interested in that, that's probably a good place for you to go. And with all that, thank you so much for joining me tonight on a Taco Bout It Tuesday. I had a great time with Lana. Thank you, everybody that joined in here from Lana's channel. If you haven't become member, feel free to do so. We are a full service YouTube channel, so you can get everything you need here. Y'all have a great rest of the week. I hope everything goes smoothly and goes well. And I'm very excited. I'm going to the theater Friday night with a girlfriend of my Donna Adelson trial girlfriend, and I are going to the theater Friday night. I'm super excited. Get out there, do some real life things. I know in some areas of the country, it's going to be crazy and weird weather and nastiness. So get out before it gets ugly. And in the meantime, as you all know, Oh, replay crew, thank you so much. And Kelly, again, thank you for being a great mod. But as I always say, it doesn't cost a penny to be kind. So find someone to do something nice for today if you haven't already. And remember,